Hey, welcome back. Boy, it's been a big week. It's Sunday, it's a new week. Okay, it was a big week. So we've got a lot to get to. I was going to do this segment on Melanie and Ian, but then something new happened, and now that we've got actual death dates, I can zero in. So what I want to do today is establish who actually was responsible for the death of JJ and Tylee. First, are any of you guys on any of these Facebook discussion groups? I made the mistake of getting on this Find Suzanne Morphew group. That's not what it's called, but one of those. Anyways, and it was, I think one of the administrators was Regina George and some other mean girls, and then a couple pervy guys. And it just kind of turned into a three-ring shit show. But I was already not impressed with it from the beginning. But for whatever reason, I stayed, and I would kind of watch it out of sick fascination. And there's always this one power tripper on there, who doesn't answer your questions, but if you challenge this person in any way, they've always got some shitty, snarky comment and I'm going to show you my power. And this, to me, is just somebody who was ignored as a child and felt very powerless. So now they are behind the scenes with their bullshit, and their little power trip and shutting people down. And then if you leave the group, they mock you, right? So they say stupid shit like somebody will announce their departure that, with a big long list of how ridiculously evil and mean these people are on this group. And then they'll be like, this isn't an airport. You don't need to announce your departure, and I'm looking at this like eye roll. And I'll read through the comments and occasionally, some funny shit goes down and you're kind of watching it, way off topic. And so I'm sitting there, got popcorn, and I'm like, yeah, reading the comments. And then I'll post one of my own. And then sometimes I'll see people that will leave one of these big old I'm leaving type comments, But what I notice sometimes, and I don't know if any of you guys are like this, but there'll be a whole bunch of like grammatical errors and misspellings. And I just feel that makes you lose your intent, like I think if you're going to send a departure letter, that you should probably pre-draft and then look at it and make sure that there's no grammatical errors. Sometimes you'll miss in the editing process, but kind of make sure that, because otherwise it's not quite as hard hitting. I find that, so I just kind of said, hey, everyone, if you're going to post a scathing letter, just kind of make sure there's no grammatical errors. Otherwise it won't, hit to the core as much as you wanted it to. And yes, it was kind of a snarky little post, and people were kind of laughing at it, whatever. And, I'm going on reading. And then Regina George decides that she's going to come at me, right? So I'm like, reading comments. And she says something like, this is Facebook. We don't need a grammar monitor. And I'm like, what? Bitch? What the fuck? Okay, so in previous readings, I had held off on doing the kids' numbers because we hadn't established their death dates yet. And I kind of held off on that. So we're going to go over the basics on that first, so I can kind of give you a gauge as to what they were dealing with. Now, because they're still kids, I always find that in childhood, your soul number really does play a big part as to who you are, okay? So Tylee was a 37-1, okay? She was a 37-1 life lesson. Now that is your King of Cups energy, okay? Now what I find with King of Cups energy is they're usually more shy, and she wasn't, okay? But they typically don't show their true selves. But what she was as a soul is a 24-6. Now this is your Queen of Wands energy. And that is more outspoken, more in your face, more family oriented. And JJ as well was a 24-6 soul, okay? And what Tylee had going for her is how she expressed. So had she expressed as a 1, she would have been more shy, more reserved, more laid back. But she was a 36-9 expression. Now, she had been through a lot in her young age, and this is where she got her humor from, is that 9 energy. People that work 9s, they go through a lot of crap. And when you go through a lot of endings, a lot of loss, a lot of crazy things, you either develop a really strong sense of humor or it completely consumes you and you just end everything. So I'm a 63-9 path of destiny, and she's a 36-9 expression. So you people that have 9s, really strong 9s, they tend to be your comedians, because it's not that they don't run deep, they run crazy, crazy deep. They've just learned how to offset it with kind of a sick, twisted sense of humor, or they'll find the humor in certain things in order to lighten it up, because otherwise they would just be the most morose, worried people on the planet all the time. Okay, so now JJ's life lesson was a 44-8, a master number 44-8. Okay, so that's your 4 of Cups energy. All right, so he had a lot to accomplish here, and that got taken away from him. All right, so very powerful number, but as I said in previous videos, he needed a very regimented, structured environment in order for him to thrive. And look what happened there towards the end. He had everything taken away from him, all of his structure, his father, his dog, his home, his family, everything got taken away. So he completely lost his structure. And now all of a sudden he's a zombie, right? Okay. Now, he had a 24-6 soul, and he expressed as a 37-1, which is interesting. So he expressed as the King of Cups. Okay. So yeah, you're not going to be able to read him very well. All right. Now, his path of destiny was a 61-7. Now this is, to me, this is your sneak attack, sneaky card. So he was ultimately, this one here, anytime I see a 16 or a 61, this is where you meet with the worst kind of betrayals. So my soul number is a 16. His path of destiny is a 61. Anytime I see this, I always warn people to guard against the people that you trust and let into your heart, and because it can end really, really badly. And Tylee's was a 60. So this one here, you think you're going towards calmer waters or something better. Otherwise, it's going from the frying pan into the fire. She really did have great things coming for her. Really, wonderful things coming for her. But yeah, somebody else was pulling the strings, and that's the sad part. She could have gotten away from her mother and her crazy things would have turned out differently. Now, here's the thing though, she's like, they both reached fame in the most sad way. And we're going to bring attention. Here's what's going to happen here is both of these kids who had these master numbers and these major numbers and these major tasks to complete is bringing attention to these dangerous religious based tenets that bring harm. So no life is lost in vain when it brings attention to something that needs to go, something that needs to be done away with. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So now let's take a look at Alex Cox and Chad Daybell, the Hitman and the Undertaker. And I just cannot get over how in denial the Cox family is with that interview with Summer and Janice. So they call your son the family hitman. Oh no. Fuck. Anyway, okay. Here's the vibe I get off Alex. I think he's a fraud. He's a fake. He puts up some, I don't know. It's just a vibe I get. I think he just reminds me of somebody who I fucking can't stand, who's also a fraud and a fake, who caused a lot of destruction in my life and in other people's lives. So that's who he reminds me of, who's also a comedian. Anyway, that's who he reminds me of. So I just get that vibe and it just keeps popping in my head. Okay. Alex Cox. He and Chad are both a 43 which is the 7 life lesson, okay? This to me, the eat, drink, and be merry, or overindulge, mislead people, lie, betray, and cause a lot of destruction, okay? Yeah, so there's that. Now here's the other really interesting part. Both came in as souls that were given a huge amount of responsibility and abused their power. This is Alex. He's a 20, which is a major arcana 20 soul. Judgment or lack thereof. Chad, 10. Okay. You put these two together, okay? Both had so many gifts of intuition, guidance, special gifts, but didn't use them wisely. And what did they use it to create? Complete destruction for the family. That's what they did. Just so completely misguided, you know? I don't know if Chad was at one time getting his transmissions from somebody, but at some point it was like a really bad episode of Quantum Leap and his computer went down.
People aren't dying like they're supposed to. Let me check the portal. What the hell's going on here? Ziggy! Ziggy, why aren't you working? Ziggy! Ziggy!
So Alex expresses as a 52-7. And you know what? Look in his pictures. Look in his eyes. There's just such a snide darkness to him. And he just expresses as a little bitch. And then Chad expresses as a 48-3. Oh, come with me. Come on, come with me. Come follow me. We're going to go and see what's beyond the mountain. And let me just guide you down this path of fucking crazy. Okay, then their destinies. Oh, yeah, and then, you know, you put those two together. So we get these two together. So we get the crazy bitch with the, you know, let me guide you. And that just creates a straight 100. That's some magician energy there that's just really misused. Really, really, really misused. Okay, so Destiny. Chad is a 58-4. Path of Destiny. Okay. Alex, 72-9. Path of Destiny. Very greedy, miserly. Gonna collect that money. Okay. Now, you put those two together, and we get a straight 130. Look what they created together. Lots of death. That's just wonderful. What a great combination. Now we've already done all of these combinations with Lori. So Lori is a 52-7 life lesson. So she is the Queen of Swords. Her path of destiny is a 77-5. Now that is your 9 of Pentacles. Okay. All of this 7 leads me to believe that she just does not think for herself very well. She needs somebody to guide her all the time. And she's not very, very smart, but this whole it's like she'll believe any teaching and anything. And I just can't understand it. Help me understand how you can find Chad Daybell attractive. I mean, I'd have to be just like, okay, so like you've done 5 shots of Patron and you're just on that 6th shot right before you throw up and then lose consciousness for 2 hours. And even then, I still wouldn't find him attractive. I'm really not getting what this attraction is here to Chad Daybell. Because I look at Charles. Charles is a good-looking guy. Joe Ryan is a good-looking guy. And then here's Chad. Here comes Chad. Here comes my chin. And it's waving in the wind. Oh, that's my first chin. Then it's my second chin. Waving in the wind. In my big old gut. You know, it's like, please, give me a fucking break. Here's another really interesting thing about Chad and Alex. Because Chad, now here's another weird thing. On that affidavit for the search warrant, they had his birthday listed as August 8th. I'm about 98% positive. 72% positive that his birthday is August 11th, not August 8th, just because I've been looking him up for quite a while, and it's always everything I come across is August 11th, so I think it's a typo. And Alex's birthday was January 18th. So this means 8 months out of every year, Alex and Chad have the same personal year vibration and personal month, personal day, personal everything. So they're 2 peas in a pod all the way around. Okay, so let's go ahead and fast forward to September of 2019. Another common thing is that Tylee and Lori have the same personal day for almost the entire year until September. That's not right. No. June till September. Neighbor girl got a new puppy, by the way. Okay.
What?
Neighbor got a new puppy. She wants to show it to us, but we have to wait. Okay, sorry, I digress. All right, so let's go ahead and fast forward to September of 2019. JJ's personal year is a 51-6, meaning this is his vibration, King of Swords. He's already lost his dad. Now he's got some strange douchebag guy that's in his life now. So all the men are at the forefront. We've got Grandpa Larry. We've got Dad, crazy Uncle Alex, and Chad, the Undertaker. Okay? Lots of upheaval, change. Okay? Come September, he's in a 60. Movement, change. Okay? So he had to move. Then they go on a trip. Okay? And I feel that this trip to Yellowstone was like the last family trip before the family of zombies all had to go. Okay? And here's the thing. On the 8th, which was the last day that Tylee was seen alive, this is where Alex was. Alex was in a 57-3, which means he was actually feeling sad about this. Not enough to not do anything, but sad about this. Okay? But also notice the swords and the cutting and the blood. Very telling. I think he actually had a fondness for Tylee because she was a comedian and he's a comedian. Okay? But this is still really, really strange to me. So this is where they were. Okay? But then the next day he goes into this. So the next day he spends, 2 or 3 hours at Chad's house dismembering her body and burying her. Okay? Lots of swords. Then he goes into resting for a while. Now, here's where Lori and Tylee were. They're here. This is their day. Okay? Now, they're both in a month of this. They're both feeling trapped, wanting to break free. And I feel like Tylee kind of wanted to get out of this situation. She knew that there was some bad stuff happening. She wanted to get out of it. Lori is feeling burdened by her children. She needs to move on. Kids are zombies. She needs to move on. Okay? Here's the one this one kind of threw me because it's a 7. It's a 70 vibration. Lori is still being a follower. I feel like Tylee knew that there was something up, but this is juggling. You're juggling. You've got a lot of stuff going on. Should I do this? Should I do that? It's a little bit of indecision in there. And then the next day, on the 9th, is this. Now, in some decks, you'll see 3 people, like a woman and 2 men. This is, we're mastering our plan. We're mastering our plan. So everything is falling into place. Let's get this done. Enlisting the help of others in order to master our plan. So, I feel like she could have exited possibly on the 8th, but for sure on the 9th, because she was definitely buried on the 9th. Oh. Now let's fast forward to September 22nd. Lori, she's in her still needing to break free because she still has one more zombie left that she feels that she needs to get rid of. All right. So she needs to move on and see what's beyond the mountains. She's in an 84. Okay. So she enlists old Uncle Al and Chad. Now, Al, let's see. If we're going to go here on the 22nd, he's in his 71-8. Right here, taking care of the family business. This is our last thing here. And he's in cahoots with both of them. So it's the man are the two men and the woman, taking care of what needs to be done. And I really do feel like they just OD'd him on something because he was sleeping. She made sure that there were witnesses in the house. Oh, it was such a tender moment when Melanie Gibb is there and her boyfriend, and JJ's, asleep on Alex's shoulder. This was all business. And then, so here is the day for both Chad and Alex. Taking care of business, doing what needs to be done, and then this is the next day. Now, this to me shows that one is like, might be going, this taking care of the family business might be getting tiring. And Chad is thinking, how am I going to explain to my wife that I just dug a hole in the yard? Now, this is where he concocts this ridiculous fucking story for Tammy, okay? And here's the funny thing. If any of y'all read that affidavit or heard the text message to Tammy, it read like one of his novels, and no, this isn't the actual message. So I was out frolicking in the yard and I spotted a giant raccoon. And that raccoon, it was very odd because it was out during the day and it was huge. It was like the size of a baby elephant. And so I scurried over and grabbed my shotgun and I quickly popped a cap in its ass and boom, one shot and done. And then I buried it in our pet cemetery. Okay, Stephen King, so let's unpack that for a second. Okay, so you found a giant raccoon out during the day, even though it is a nocturnal animal, and you buried it in the pet cemetery. Okay, so now we'll explain why we have random bones in the pet cemetery. What an idiot. And I actually think that, he sent off all of these, okay, getting in the show, I'm gonna go right at BYU. I'm going to get in the shower now. Okay, I'm home now. And she's like, great. Do you think that's Sanskrit for whatever, you cheating, lying fuck? Probably, because I think she was on to him by now. Anyway, just so disturbing. I mean, this guy has about as much personality as a fucking speed bump. I still don't get it, okay? I just don't get it. Now, next, we need to move into this whole Zulema thing because I'm pretty sure, and I was going to go back and listen to it before I did this video, but I'm pretty sure that Zulema's son said that she was a nurse. So, And thank you to my subscribers that came up with her birthday. If anybody can grab me a middle name on that one, that would be great. I'm not sure. I need to find the right people search that doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, that actually gives me birth names and birth dates, because that would make my job a heck of a lot easier. So here is my theory to wrap everything up. I feel that the kids were poisoned, and I feel that Lori is the administrator of that poison. She's the deliverer, because this is where JJ was, okay? That to me just shows me that this bitch gave him a poison cup. I feel that Alex is the one that takes care of disposing of bodies, and that Chad is the Undertaker, the guy that buries them. They're all complicit, all equally complicit. And if they think that they're gonna blame everything on Alex, that's real clever, but they're all equal partners in this, and they all equally need to go down. And I also think that Chad is 100% responsible for his wife's death. She died on like a Saturday, and either on a Friday or a Saturday, and had her service on a Monday. That didn't even give people time to even get the notification that she was dead. That means get her in the ground, get it done, no autopsy needed, no nothing, okay? No time for people to ask questions or anything. That's so ridiculously suspicious. So he's in it up to his eyeballs. Alex was into it up to his eyeballs, and Lori's into it up to her eyeballs. And anybody who wants to dispute that, I think you're just as crazy as the rest of them. So yeah, there, I said that. I'm sure that there's a whole bunch that I forgot, But that's my take on this. They're all in it. They're all equally complicit in the fact that that bitch would smile and play, and fat ass would play the ukulele, and they're all just just having the time of our lives, and the whole family just with their head firmly buried up their ass. Colby, I feel so bad for you. Larry and Kay, Annie, you know, prayers to you guys. You know, I just sending you guys so much love, and really anything we can do to help you, we're here for you. You know, I just want to see this getting done. You know, let's get this completed. Lori, good luck with your fucking personal injury, family lawyer, and let's get this done. All right, guys, take care. Talk soon.